Did you know, in the books, Viserys couldn't have any sons because he kept trying to get his wife pregnant when she was too young? As the old king's strength and wits began to fail, he was oft confined to his bed. So Otto's precocious 15-year-old daughter, Alicent, became his constant companion, fetching his grace his meals, reading to him, helping him to bathe and dress himself. The old king sometimes mistook her for one of his daughters, calling her by their names. Near the end, he grew certain that she was his daughter, Sarah, returned to him from beyond the narrow sea. Sarah was a daughter of Jaehaerys that he forced to marry after finding out she had been sleeping around, so she escaped from Westeros and became a wealthy prostitute in the Free Cities. One of her sons even tried to claim the Iron Throne at the Great Council. In the year 103 AC, King Jaehaerys I Targaryen died in his bed as Lady Alicent was reading to him from Septon Bath's Unnatural History. His Grace was 69 years of age and had reigned over the Seven Kingdoms since coming to the Iron Throne at the age of 14. His remains were burnt in the Dragon Pit, his ashes interred with good Queen Alysanne's on Dragonstone. All of Westeros mourned. Even in Dawn, where his writ had not extended, men wept and women tore their garments. His grandson Viserys succeeded him, mounting the Iron, and at the time of his ascent, King Viserys was 26 years old. He had been married for a decade to a cousin, Lady Aemma of House Arryn, herself a granddaughter of the old king and good Queen Alysanne through her mother, the late Princess Daela, died in 82 AC. Lady Aemma had suffered several miscarriages and the death of one son in the cradle over the course of her marriage. Some maesters felt she had been married and bedded too young. But she had also given birth to a healthy daughter, Rhaenyra, born 97 AC. Again, Book Viserys is just not a good guy the more you look at his actions, and kind of an idiot for allowing the Dance of the Dragons to happen right after his death. Gyldayn writes, "The new King Viserys and his Queen Aemma both doted on the girl Rhaenyra, their only living child. Many consider the reign of King Viserys I to represent the apex of Targaryen power in Westeros. Beyond a doubt, there were more lords and princes claiming the blood of the dragon than at any other period before or since. Though the Targaryens had continued their traditional practice of marrying within the family wherever possible, there had also been important matches outside the royal family, the fruit of which would play important roles in the war to come. There were more dragons than ever before as well, and several of the she-dragons were regularly producing clutches of eggs. Not all these eggs hatched, but many did, and it became customary for the fathers and mothers of newborn princelings to place a dragon's egg in their cradles, following a tradition that Princess Rhaenyra had begun many years before. The children so blessed invariably bonded with the hatchlings to become dragon riders. So, as this passage indicates, there are suddenly more dragon eggs being produced and hatched. The last time this happened was with Jaehaerys' sister, Rhaena, which is probably why the maesters made sure she did not become queen. So, in House Targaryen, there are special female Targaryen with she-dragons who can produce and hatch dragon eggs, such as Dreamfire Rhaena, who placed a dragon egg in the cradles of her younger brother, Jaehaerys, and sister, Alysanne, from which their dragons Vermithor and Silverwing hatched. Rhaena also hatched her own dragon, Dreamfire, and probably had a hand in hatching Aemon's dragon, Caraxes, in 72 AC. Thereafter, she was removed from King's Landing and left in Harrenhal to die without hatching more dragon eggs. Now, like Rhaena, Rhaenys is also hatching dragon eggs through Meleys and her son, Lenore's dragon Quicksilver, and probably Moondancer. Therefore, she couldn't be allowed to sit on the Iron Throne. Unfortunately, Viserys' daughter Rhaenyra is also a special female Targaryen hatching Syrax, Vermax, Arax, and Tyraxis. As queen, any of these women, Rhaena, Rhaenys, and Rhaenyra could have helped spawn a second Valyria in Westeros and had to be stopped by the Old Town conspiracy. Gyldayn writes, Viserys I Targaryen had a genuine, amiable nature and was well loved by his lords and smallfolk alike. The reign of the young king, as the commons called him upon his ascent, was peaceful and prosperous. His grace's open-handedness was legendary, and the Red Keep became a place of song and splendor. King Viserys and Queen Aemma hosted many a feast and tourney, and lavished gold, offices, and honors on their favorites. At the center of their merriment, cherished and adored by all, was their only surviving child, Princess Rhaenyra, the little girl the court singers dubbed the Realm's Delight. Though only 6 when her father came to the Iron Throne, Rhaenyra Targaryen was a precocious child, bright and bold and beautiful, as only one of dragon's blood could be beautiful. At 7, she became a dragon rider, taking to the sky on the young dragon she named Syrax, after a goddess of old Valyria. At 8, the princess was placed into service as a cupbearer, but for her own father, the king. At table, at tourney, and at court, King Viserys thereafter was seldom seen without his daughter by his side. So, every Targaryen king, after Aegon the Conqueror and before the dance, is either a black dragon who doesn't have the support of the Faith, House Hightower, and the Maesters, or a green dragon who does have the support of Oldtown. Aenys was a black dragon, which is why the Faith rose up against him. So was Maegor, which is why he crushed the Faith and stripped them of their ability to arm themselves, greatly reducing their strength. Rhaena was the rightful queen of Westeros and producing dragon eggs, which made her a black dragon. So Oldtown rallied behind Jaehaerys and made him king. Thus he and his children were green dragons. Rhaenys began producing dragon eggs and hatching them, so she was a black dragon. Therefore, Oldtown stole the throne from her and gave it to Balon and his son Viserys, making them green dragons. Unfortunately, as we see in this chapter, Rhaenyra is hatching dragon eggs, which makes her a black dragon, so Oldtown now needs a green dragon to oppose her. Gyldayn writes, Meanwhile, the tedium of rule was left largely to the king's small council and his hand. So Otto Hightower had continued in that office, serving the grandson as he had the grandsire. An able man, all agreed, though many found him proud, brusque, and haughty. The longer he served, the more imperious Sir Otto became, it was said, and many great lords and princes came to resent his manner and envy him his access to the Iron Throne. The greatest of his rivals was Daemon Targaryen, the king's ambitious, impetuous, moody younger brother. As charming as he was hot-tempered, Prince Daemon had earned his knight's spurs at 6 and 10, and had been given Dark Sister by the old king himself in recognition of his prowess. Though he had wed the Lady of Runestone in 97 AC during the old king's reign, the marriage had not been a success. Prince Daemon found the Vale of Arryn boring. In the Vale, the men sheep, he wrote. You cannot fault them, their sheep are prettier than their women. And soon developed a mislike of his lady wife, whom he called my bronze. After the runic bronze armor worn by the lords of House Royce. Upon the ascension of his brother to the Iron Throne, the prince petitioned to have his marriage set aside. Viserys denied the request, but did allow Daemon to return to court, where he sat on the small council serving as Master of Coin from 103 to 104, and Master of Laws for half a year in 104. So, was Rhae given to Daemon because she was barren, the same way Maegor was given Cerys Hightower, who was also barren? It is very difficult to say. It could be a coincidence, but it does seem plausible that twice the more powerful younger brother has been given a wife with which he cannot produce an heir, as a way to shore up the weaker older brother's reign. Because unlike Viserys, Daemon had a dragon and would not be susceptible to Old Town influence, making him a black dragon, whereas Viserys was a green dragon who accommodated Old Town by making Otto his hand and taking no interest in ruling the realm. Gyldayn writes, "Governors bored this warrior prince, however. He did better when King Viserys made him commander of the city watch. Finding the watchmen ill-armed and clad in oddments and rags, Daemon equipped each man with dirk, short sword, and cudgel, armored them in black ringmail, and gave them golden cloaks that they might wear with pride. Ever since, the men of the city watch have been known as gold cloaks. Prince Daemon took eagerly to the work of the gold cloaks, and oft prowled the alleys of King's Landing with his men. That he made the city more orderly no man could doubt, but his discipline was a brutal one. He delighted in cutting off the hands of pickpockets, gelding and slitting the noses of thieves, and slew 3 men in street brawls during his first year as commander. Before long, the prince was well known in all low places of King's Landing. He became a familiar sight in wine sinks, where he drank for free, and gambling pits, where he always left with more coin than when he entered. Though he sampled countless in the city's brothels, and was said to have an especial fondness for deflowering maidens, a certain Liceni dancing girl soon became his favorite. Mysaria was the name she went by, though her rivals and enemies called her Misery, the White Worm. As King Viserys had no living son, Daemon regarded himself as the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, and coveted the title Prince of Dragonstone, which his grace refused to grant him. But by the end of the year 105 AC, he was known to his friends as the Prince of the City, and to the small folk as Lord Fleabottom. Giving Daemon this position really backfires in the future during the Dance of the Dragons, since even after 20 years, the City Watch remained loyal to Daemon despite everything that the Greens try to do and make the City Watch theirs. Mysaria is also a more terrifying figure in the books. Her and Larys Strong seem to be having a secret underground war for control of King's Landing that the show sadly didn't include. Anyway, subscribe for more.